The Galactic Council had gathered in the Great Hall, their voices low but full of hope. For years, many races had fought wars that had scarred the stars. Now, for the first time in centuries, a treaty promised peace. The leaders of many worlds signed it with great ceremony. Everyone wanted peace. Everyone hoped the future would be calm and safe. But on Earth, things were different. While other planets celebrated, Earth's skies were busy with ships moving in and out of hidden docks. Factories that made weapons never slowed down. Soldiers trained harder than ever before. Earth's leaders did not trust the peace that others so easily accepted. They said, "Peace is only a pause before the storm." To the rest of the galaxy, this was a strange idea. Why prepare for war if peace was declared? Kale, a young alien ambassador from the peaceful race of the Lyrans, was sent to Earth to understand what was happening. The Lyrans had always believed in calm talks and quiet diplomacy. Kale had grown up dreaming of a future without war, but when he landed on Earth, he felt something different. The air was tense, and the people were different from the peaceful Lyrans he knew. He met Earth's leaders, but they were careful with their words. They smiled politely, but never shared the full truth. Kyle visited military bases hidden beneath huge mountains and saw soldiers training with machines that looked like they came from another world. The weapons were sharper, faster, and deadlier than anything Kale had ever seen. In the city streets, Kale heard whispers from the people. "The treaty is a trap," some said. "We must be ready." Others warned, "If we don't fight first, we will be destroyed." No one spoke loudly, but the fear and anger filled the air like an invisible storm. One night, Kyle walked alone through a crowded market. The stars shone above, but the people looked down. He overheard a group of humans speaking quietly but fiercely. "Peace means nothing without strength," one said. "We have seen the other races weaken themselves. We will not be the same. Our time is coming." Kale felt a chill. He knew this was not the Earth he had imagined. He decided to learn more. With the help of a trusted human guide named Elena, he was taken to a secret place called Shadow Command. It was hidden deep underground, behind layers of security that even Kale had trouble passing. Inside Shadow Command, Kale saw walls covered, with screens showing star maps, ships moving in real time, and soldiers planning strategies. The humans were not preparing to keep peace. They were preparing for war. Elena told Kyle that the treaty was never about peace for Earth. It was a chance to watch and wait, to prepare. Kale's heart sank. The Galactic Council had believed in the treaty. Many races had put down their weapons. Earth was the only one building its army. "Why?" Elena said. "Because we know something they don't." "Something terrible is coming," Kyle asked. "What is it? Why is Earth so different?" Elena looked at him with tired eyes. "There is a shadow in the stars, a power that wants to destroy us all." The treaty was a lie made by those who want to hide this truth. We cannot trust anyone but ourselves. Kyle wanted to believe there was another way, but he saw the truth in her words. The peaceful future he had dreamed of was breaking apart. Earth was ready for war, not because it wanted to fight, but because it had no other choice. As days passed, Kyle traveled across Earth, watching the world prepare. In the deserts, huge cannons were tested. In the oceans, submarines dived deep and practiced attacks. Pilots flew faster and risked more. It was like the whole planet was holding its breath, waiting for a storm no one could stop. Meanwhile, other alien ambassadors tried to ignore Earth's behavior. They told their people not to worry. "Humans are strange but harmless," they said. But Kale knew better. He sent messages back to the Council, warning them to watch Earth closely. One night, Kale stood on a high mountain looking at the stars. A fleet of Earth ships passed silently above, moving toward the unknown. He wondered what would happen when the Council learned the truth. Suddenly, alarms rang out in Shadow Command. Elena's voice came over the speaker. "Kyle, come quickly! We have an emergency!" Kyle rushed underground. Soldiers crowded around a large screen showing a small alien ship approaching Earth's orbit. It was unarmed, but moving fast. The humans watched it carefully. A voice crackled over the radio. "This is the Galactic Council. You must explain. Your presence." The alien ship replied. "We come with a warning. The treaty is broken. Earth prepares for war. The peace you promised is a lie." The room fell silent. Everyone stared at the screen. Kyle felt a heavy weight on his chest. Elena turned to him and said, "This is only the beginning. Earth will not stop. The galaxy must choose, peace or war." Kyle nodded slowly. He knew he was caught between two worlds. The peaceful hope of the Council and the harsh reality of Earth's war machines. As the alien ship disappeared into space, Kyle whispered to himself, "The peace everyone wanted is just a mask. The real battle has only just begun." The alien ship's warning echoed across the stars. But on the Galactic Council's Great Hall, many leaders refused to believe it. "Humans are just nervous," some said. "They fear war because they are weak." The Council chose to trust the treaty, even after Kyle's urgent messages. Kyle felt alone. He knew Earth was not weak. He knew humans were preparing for something big, and it wasn't peace. Back on Earth, General Rourke stood on the bridge of a huge warship called the Iron Hawk. His eyes scanned the star maps glowing in front of him. "The others think we're blind," he said quietly to his officers. "Let's show them we are wide awake." The humans had been listening. Deep in space, Earth's secret satellites captured strange signals from the distant Varnock Empire, an alien race no one trusted. The Varnock had never agreed to the treaty and were moving ships closer to Earth's territory. The humans intercepted coded messages between Varnock commanders. One message said, "Stage 1 begins soon." Humans decoded the plans and knew the Varnock were ready to attack other planets in the Council. Kale worked secretly with Elena to gather proof. Together, they hacked into Varnock transmissions and found a horrifying truth. The Varnock had tricked the Council. They had forced the treaty on everyone else to buy time to prepare their war. This treaty was a trap, Kyle told the Council's leaders. "The Varnock want to destroy us all, starting with Earth," the Council's members argued. "If this is true, we must act now," some shouted, but many still doubted. While the Council fought over what to do, Earth moved in silence. General Rourke prepared his soldiers and fleets. They trained day and night, ready to strike first. One cold night, Kale joined Elena at a secret listening post. They watched as a small human reconnaissance team entered deep space, heading toward a hidden Varnock base. "Why risk this now?" Kale asked. Elena smiled grimly. "Because waiting means death." The recon team sent back messages full of tension and hope. "Enemy base spotted," one voice whispered. "We're moving in." Kale's heart pounded. He realized Earth's plan was not just defense, it was a warning shot. Back on the Council, a voice declared, "If Earth attacks first, there will be no peace left in the galaxy." Kale looked at the stars and thought, the treaty promised peace, but humanity was ready for war instead. Kale was shocked by what he discovered. The treaty, the Great Peace Agreement, was not made by humans. It was forced by a secret alien empire called the Varnock. The Varnock had tricked many races into signing the treaty, hoping everyone would be weak and unprepared. Kyle and Elena worked late into the night, decoding more Varnock messages. The truth was clear. The Varnock planned to invade and control the galaxy. The treaty was their tool to keep other races busy and unarmed, but Earth had never trusted the Varnock. Humans had intercepted these secret messages years ago. That was why Earth refused to lower its defenses. The treaty was a lie, but the humans had a real plan. They called it Operation Iron Sky. On Earth, the leaders gathered in a high-security bunker. General Rourke spoke with calm but power. "We will not wait for the Varnock to destroy us. We strike first. We show the galaxy that humanity will not be fooled." Elena looked at Kyle. "They are not reckless," she said. "They are ready to fight for survival." Deep beneath the surface, a fleet of human warships powered up, hidden from the eyes of the Council and other alien races. The ships were armed with the latest technology, silent engines, powerful weapons, and cloaking devices that made them invisible in space. Kyle felt the weight of the moment. The treaty promised peace, but humans prepared for war. And now, war was coming. At the edge of the solar system, the hidden human fleet moved silently toward the Varnock's dark territories. Back at the Council, confusion grew. "Earth breaks the treaty," some cried. "They are dangerous." Kale knew better. Earth was not the enemy. The real threat was the Varnock Empire hiding behind the false peace. He whispered to himself, "The war in the stars is about to begin, and Earth will lead the fight." The sky above the ruins of New Berlin was dark and full of smoke. Tall buildings that once touched the clouds were now nothing but broken steel and burnt concrete. The war between humans and the Valkyrin had ended just a few months ago, but the wounds were still fresh. Streets were empty, and silence had become louder than bombs. People tried to rebuild, but deep inside, they knew it wasn't truly over. Commander Reyna stood on the edge of a collapsed bridge, her sharp eyes scanning the horizon. She wore a black military coat, the symbol of Earth Defense Forces still, visible on her shoulder, though faded. Her face was calm, but inside her mind, fires still burned. The peace treaty had been signed with the Valkyrin, an alien race that had nearly destroyed Earth. The news had spread quickly. The war was over and peace had begun. But Reyna knew better. She remembered the final day of the war. The Valkyrin. Fleet had hovered above Earth, weapons aimed at every major city, but suddenly they had stopped firing. Their leader, General Kael'tor, had opened talks. He spoke of peace, of shared futures, of stopping the bloodshed. The humans, weak and tired, agreed. They had no choice. Their armies were broken, their cities falling. A peace deal was their only chance. But Reyna had seen their eyes, those cold, silver Valkyrin eyes. There was no regret, no guilt, no real peace behind them. She had lost her brother in the war. He had been killed when a Valkyrin bioweapon burned through the defenses of Lunar Base 5. She never got to say goodbye. The aliens said it was a necessary mistake. Reyna called it murder. Now, every handshake, every fake smile, every treaty signed felt like a lie. The Valkyrin thought the humans were scared, that they had submitted. They believed Earth was weak, ready to follow orders. But what the aliens didn't know was that Earth had a different plan. Reyna walked through a hidden door beneath the wreckage. It led to an underground facility, deep below the old city. Inside, the lights were dim, and quiet footsteps echoed through the tunnels. Scientists and soldiers moved quickly, their faces full of purpose. No one here believed in the peace deal. This was Project Ashes, a secret operation working under Earth's last surviving intelligence unit. Reyna was its leader. As she entered the control room, a young officer named Elias saluted her. He handed her a data pad. "The Valkyrin patrols have increased near Mars. They're watching," he said. "They should be," Reyna replied, taking the pad. "Let them think we're scared. It'll make this easier." On the screen, a file opened. It showed the design of something powerful, something Earth had never built before, It wasn't just a weapon, it was a message, one that would tell the Valkyrin they were wrong to trust in human weakness, but not everyone in Project Ashes agreed. Dr. Lin, a scientist who once worked on Earth's Peace Council, stood near a console with a worried face. "Reyna," she said softly, "if we go forward with this, there's no turning back. If they find out, they won't," Reyna interrupted. "Not until it's too late." Outside, Earth looked like it was healing. Governments were holding meetings. Trade routes with the Valkyrin had started. News channels showed smiling. Humans shaking hands with tall alien diplomats. But none of that was real. Not in Reyna's eyes. It was all a cover, a distraction. The humans had lost the first war because they trusted too much. This time, trust was not part of the plan. Reyna had learned that survival didn't come from forgiveness. It came from being ready, from never showing your true cards. Deep in the lab, machines worked day and night. They were testing alien technology, reverse engineering it to make something even more dangerous. Reyna had given the order weeks ago, copy the Valkyrin's strongest weapons, but make them better, smarter, and human-controlled. The plan wasn't just defense. It was payback. As she walked past the labs, she paused in front of a large glass chamber. Inside it, a metal device pulsed with blue light. It hummed like it was alive. It was still incomplete, but it would change everything. Reyna placed a hand on the glass. "They think we accepted peace," she whispered. "But they forgot who we are." Behind her, the team continued their work in silence. There were no celebrations here, no songs, no smiles. Only focus, only fire. Somewhere far in space, the Valkyrin watched Earth, thinking they had won. They believed they had ended the human threat, but in their arrogance, they made a mistake. They gave humans time to think, time to rebuild, time to prepare. The treaty was just ink on paper. To Earth, it meant nothing. Not anymore. And so, in the shadows of broken cities, deep below the surface of a quiet planet, humanity made its move. Not with noise, not with open war, but with silence. With plans hidden behind tired eyes and fake smiles, the peace wasn't real. And soon, the Valkyrin would find out what humans were really capable of. The air in the underground bunker was cold and still, but inside, the minds were busy. Commander. Reyna sat at the head of a long metal table, surrounded by a small group of people. They were the core of Project Ashes, scientists, soldiers, and spies who did not believe in peace. They believed in winning. Reyna looked at each of them, her eyes hard but full of hope. She had gathered this group in secret months ago, after the peace treaty was signed. They were Earth's last chance. "This isn't just about fighting," Reyna said quietly. "It's about survival. The Valkyrin destroyed our colonies, killed millions. They think peace means we forgot. But we never forget." A murmur ran through the room. Elias, the young officer from before, spoke up. "We need to be ready. The Valkyrin are building new weapons. They don't trust us anymore either." Dr. Lin, the scientist with a worried face, nodded slowly. "Our research shows the Valkyrin are stronger than we thought. Their biology, their tech, it's far beyond us. But if we use their own weapons against them, maybe we have a chance." Reyna smiled for the first time. "Exactly. That's why we are here. We're building something the Valkyrin don't expect. Something they can't fight." The group listened as Reyna explained their secret plan, Project Rebirth. It was a weapon unlike any other, made by humans, but powered by Valkyrin technology stolen and copied. It could change the course of the war. "But it won't just destroy them," Reyna said, her voice low. "It will break their minds. It will take away their war secrets, their strategies, everything that makes them dangerous." A heavy silence followed. The Valkyrin had always been unbeatable because of their minds. their ability to think faster, to plan better. If humans could take that away, the war would be over. But not everyone was sure it was the right thing to do. Dr. Lin stood and faced the commander.
Reyna, what if we become monsters? What if this weapon destroys more than just the Valkyrin? What if it hurts innocent lives?
Reyna looked at her calmly.
We already live in a world destroyed by monsters. We are fighting for our future.
Sometimes to win, you must make hard choices. Outside the bunker, life in the world above was a strange mix of hope and fear. People tried to rebuild their homes, but every night they dreamed of the past, the sound of explosions, the screams, the Valkyrin ships in the sky. Children asked questions their parents couldn't answer. Meanwhile, the Valkyrin kept their patrols near Mars and the outer planets. They watched Earth carefully, never trusting the peace. Their ambassador often visited Earth, smiling but always watching. No one knew what he was really thinking, but everyone feared it. One night, in a secret room, Reyna met with her closest friends. They spoke in whispers.
"We can't let the Valkyrin find out about Project Rebirth," said Elias. "If they learn, they will destroy us before we finish."
Reyna nodded.
"That's why we must be faster. We need to move carefully, silently. The world thinks the war is over.
Let them think that." She paused, her eyes distant. "But in silence we prepare our storm." The next day, a small team was sent on a dangerous mission to steal more Valkyrin technology. They boarded a damaged Valkyrin ship near the asteroid belt. The ship was dark and empty, but still powerful. The team moved quickly, collecting data and weapons. Suddenly, alarms blared. An unknown enemy had discovered their presence. The team fought hard. Reyna's voice came through the radio. "Get out now! Mission abort! We'll cover your escape!" One of the soldiers, a young woman named Zara, stayed behind to protect the others. She sent one last message before the signal cut out. "I'm staying. Get the data back. For Earth." Reyna clenched her fists as she listened to Zara's sacrifice. The war had taken many lives, but now it was personal. Back at the bunker, scientists worked day and night to understand the stolen technology. They discovered weapons that could manipulate time, others that could control minds. The Valkyrin were not just fighters. They were masters of war in every way. Reyna knew that if Earth had a chance, it would come from learning and adapting faster than the Valkyrin. They needed to be smarter, stronger, and more fearless. But not everyone on Earth agreed with this secret war. Some leaders believed that peace should be respected, that humanity should try to live with the Valkyrin, no matter what. They saw Reyna and Project Ashes as dangerous radicals. One day, a message arrived from Earth's government. Reyna was ordered to stop her secret operations immediately. The peace treaty had to be honored. Reyna smiled sadly. "Peace is a lie," she told her team, "and if we don't fight now, humanity will never survive." She looked around the room and made a silent promise. No matter the cost, no matter the enemy, they would fight for Earth's future. In the dark corners of space, the Valkyrin watched and waited, unaware that the humans they thought defeated were already planning their revenge. The peace that everyone believed was real was only the beginning of a new, deadlier war. The world above seemed calm, but the calm was a lie. Commander Reyna knew that better than anyone. To the outside, humans and Valkyrin were friends now. They shared trade agreements, cultural exchanges, and even joint scientific projects. News channels showed smiling faces and hopeful speeches. But beneath the smiles, something darker was growing. Reyna sat quietly in a crowded room filled with human and Valkyrin diplomats. The room was large, with tall windows that showed the bright sky outside. The Valkyrin ambassador, a tall being with silver skin, spoke calmly about friendship and cooperation. Humans nodded politely. But Reyna's eyes were cold and alert. She had been sent here on a secret mission, to listen, to watch, to gather information. The Valkyrin diplomats were masters of disguise, hiding their true intentions behind polite words and soft voices. But Reyna had learned to see past that. After the meeting ended, she slipped away to a private corner. Her communicator beeped. It was Captain Milo from Command Black Echo. Reyna, we intercepted a strange transmission from the Valkyrin diplomatic ship. It's encrypted and moving fast. Reyna's heart raced. Can we decode it? Working on it. But it looks like a test. Something to see if we're watching. Reyna's mind raced. The Valkyrin were playing a dangerous game. They wanted humans to think peace was real, but they were preparing something else. Something bigger. Back underground, scientists worked in secret labs to understand the new data. Using the stolen Valkyrin technology, they built devices that could detect hidden signals and decode alien languages. The technology was advanced, but the scientists were determined. Failure was not an option. One scientist, Dr. Lin, showed Reyna the latest results. We found something unusual, she said. A small Valkyrin outpost near Earth's moon. It wasn't on any maps. They've been hiding it. Reyna's eyes narrowed. Why? What are they hiding there? Dr. Lin shook her head. We don't know yet, but we need to find out. That night, Reyna met with a small team of soldiers. They planned a secret mission to the moon. Their goal, to find the hidden outpost and discover what the Valkyrin were hiding. The journey to the moon was tense and silent. The team wore light suits, their faces grim. They landed in a dark crater far from any known base. The outpost was small but heavily guarded. Reyna's team moved like shadows, avoiding patrols and cameras. Inside the outpost, they found strange devices, machines that looked like weapons but unlike anything humans had seen before. Some seemed to manipulate gravity, others sent signals deep into space. Suddenly, alarms blared. The team had been discovered. Reyna shouted, "Fall back! Fall back!" The soldiers ran through the corridors as laser fire chased them. Zara, the brave soldier who had saved her team before, covered their retreat. She fought fiercely, buying time for the others to escape. Reyna's heart pounded as she watched Zara disappear into the chaos. She knew the cost of this war was growing heavier. Back on Earth, the news still spoke of peace and friendship. But in secret, Reyna prepared for the worst. The Valkyrin were hiding terrible weapons and humans had to be ready. She looked at the deep stars above and whispered, "We will not lose, not this time." The peace was only a mask. The real war was just beginning. Commander Reyna stood on the edge of the human base, looking out into the dark sky. The stars seemed cold and distant, but she knew something was coming. The Valkyrin were not just waiting, they were watching. Every move Earth made, they tracked it carefully. But Reyna had a secret weapon: information. Inside the base, tension ran high. The peace talks were still happening on the surface, but below, the military prepared for war. Reyna's team worked non-stop, training, gathering intel, and building defenses. She knew the Valkyrin would not wait forever. One night, a message arrived from inside Earth's own ranks, a warning. Someone was betraying them. Reyna read the encrypted text twice before understanding the truth. A spy was helping the Valkyrin find their secret bases and plans. She called her closest officers into the command room. "We have a traitor," she said sharply. "Someone is leaking information. We must find them before it's too late." Captain Milo frowned. It could be anyone, even inside our trusted circle. Reyna's eyes burned with determination. "We will root them out. No one can stop us from defending Earth." Meanwhile, the Valkyrin were not idle. Their scouts had found one of the hidden human bases. They sent a small strike team to attack and destroy it before humans could finish their new weapon. Reyna received the report just as the alarms blared. "Enemy ships approaching," Milo said. "They are heading for the northern base." Without hesitation, Reyna ordered the defenders to prepare. The base was small but well armed. Soldiers took their positions, and fighters launched into the sky. The battle was fierce and fast. Laser fire lit up the night as ships clashed above. On the ground, explosions shook the earth. Reyna stayed calm, directing the defense with sharp commands. Suddenly, she heard a distress call from the base commander. "They've breached the outer walls! We need backup!" Reyna didn't hesitate. She grabbed her gear and ran toward the base. Her team fought side by side with the defenders, pushing the Valkyrin back step by step. In the chaos, Reyna spotted a Valkyrin scout trying to escape with a data device. She chased him through the ruins. The scout was quick, but Reyna was faster. She tackled him, grabbing the device. As she stood up, the scout hissed in anger, but she pressed a button on the device. It sent a silent signal to her team. Back at Command Black Echo, Milo received the data. "This is it," he said. "We found their plans. They are preparing something called Phase Zero." Reyna's heart sank. "What is Phase Zero?" Milo shook his head. "We don't know exactly, but it's a code for their next big attack. If it starts, the war will explode again." Reyna clenched her fists. "We can't let that happen. Prepare an attack. We strike first." The spy inside their ranks was still a threat, but Reyna knew she had to act quickly. The Valkyrin thought humans were weak, tired of war, but they were wrong. Humans were ready to fight back harder than ever. As the stars shone cold above, the real war was about to begin, and this time, Reyna vowed, humans would not wait for the Valkyrin to strike first. They would be the hunters, not the hunted. The sun was rising over the ruined city as Commander Reyna prepared for the next move. The stolen data showed the Valkyrin's plans in painful detail. Phase Zero was not just an attack, it was a weapon that could change reality itself. It could twist time, space, and minds. If the Valkyrin used it, Earth would fall before the day ended. Reyna gathered her team in the war room. The walls glowed with maps, weapons blueprints, and Valkyrin fleet movements. Everyone's eyes were heavy with fear, but Reyna's were sharp and fierce. "We don't have much time," she said. "Phase Zero will begin soon. If we wait, it will be too late. We strike now." Deep into Valkyrin space. A quiet murmur passed through the room. Attacking Valkyrin home territory was dangerous, almost suicidal. But Reyna's voice was steady. "We have a chance to end this war. Not with peace, but with power. We will use their own weapon against them." The team worked fast. Scientists finished the last tests on Project Rebirth, the human weapon built with Valkyrin technology. Soldiers prepared ships and weapons. Everyone knew this mission was the most important in history. Reyna stood by the window, looking at the stars. She thought of Zara, the soldier who had sacrificed herself for the team. Her bravery pushed Reyna forward. She promised Zara's spirit would not be lost. The fleet launched quietly at night, slipping through space like shadows. No alarms, no warnings. Just cold, silent ships moving toward the Valkyrin. As they crossed the boundary into enemy territory, tension filled every ship. Each person knew this could be their last mission. But they also knew the stakes. Earth's survival. Reyna's ship led the fleet, her eyes fixed on the control panel. Suddenly, an alert flashed. Valkyrin ships were activating. The enemy had found them. "Battle stations!" Reyna shouted. "Prepare for fight!" The sky around them exploded with laser fire. Ships weaved and dodged. Fighters screamed through the blackness. The battle was fierce, but the humans fought with desperation and skill. Reyna's ship took damage, but she stayed calm. Her crew worked fast to repair and fight back. She focused on the target, Valkyrin's main weapon facility. They had to destroy it before Phase Zero could start. Minutes felt like hours as they approached the facility. Reyna gave the order to launch Project Rebirth. The weapon activated, sending waves of energy into the enemy base. Lights flickered and alarms screamed. Valkyrin soldiers scrambled to stop the attack, but the weapon was too strong. Suddenly, the facility began to collapse. Time and space seemed to twist around them, lights bending and colors shifting. Reyna held on tightly. The battle was far from over, but this strike had changed everything. Back on Earth, people watched the news with mixed emotions. The peace was broken, war was back, but now hope burned brighter than ever. Reyna's voice echoed over the comms.
This fight is ours. We will survive. We will win. The war had only just begun.